9 things to tell yourself every morning. Everyone, every day is a fresh start, a new page, a blank canvas, and how we begin it, what we say to ourselves when we wake up, can shape everything that follows. So today, I want to share with you 9 powerful things you should tell yourself every morning, organized into 6 key points to help you reset your mindset, recharge your confidence, and realign with your purpose. Gratitude is one of the most powerful emotions we can feel, yet it's also one of the most easily overlooked. In the hustle of life with its responsibilities, deadlines, and pressures, we often wake up already feeling overwhelmed. Our minds go straight to the to-do list, the problems waiting to be solved, and the weight we carry. But imagine if the first thing you told yourself each morning wasn't about what you lack, but about what you already have. Imagine beginning your day with, "I am grateful." Gratitude shifts your focus. It's not about pretending that everything is perfect or ignoring the real challenges you face. It's about choosing to acknowledge the good, even in the midst of the bad. When you wake up and say, "I'm thankful for this day," you're not just stating a fact. You're training your mind to look for what's right before it gets distracted by what's wrong. There's something quietly powerful about that moment when your feet first hit the floor. That's your chance. That's your reset button. In that stillness before the world rushes in, you get to decide how you show up. And choosing gratitude doesn't require a perfect life. It only requires an open heart. You can be grateful for the smallest things, the warmth of your bed, the breath in your lungs, the chance to try again. And when you begin with that mindset, everything else starts to look different. Your problems don't magically vanish, but they shrink in comparison to the things you've chosen to appreciate. Instead of starting your day with frustration, you begin with peace, and there's science to back this up. Studies have shown that people who practice daily gratitude have better sleep, reduced anxiety, and even stronger relationships. Gratitude literally rewires your brain. It shifts you out of survival mode and into a state of clarity and calm. When you focus on the positive, your brain releases dopamine and serotonin, chemicals that make you feel good. Over time, this becomes a habit, a way of thinking, a lifestyle, but here's the thing, gratitude is a choice, not a feeling. You don't have to wait to feel grateful to start being grateful. It starts with a decision, and that decision can be as simple as a sentence, "I am grateful." Say it, even when you don't feel it. Say it when the day feels heavy. Say it when nothing's going your way, because those are the moments when gratitude matters most. And gratitude isn't just about what you have, it's also about what you see. 2 people can live the exact same life, yet one feels blessed and the other feels burdened. The difference, what you focus on, you feel. If you focus on lack, you feel emptiness. If you focus on abundance, you feel full, even if the circumstances haven't changed. When you wake up each morning and remind yourself, "I am grateful," you create a ripple effect. That attitude bleeds into your conversations, your decisions, and your reactions. You become more patient, more present, and more connected to the world around you. You notice the smile of a stranger, the beauty of the sky, the kindness of someone holding the door. And slowly, life becomes less about what's missing, and more about what's already meaningful. Some days will be harder than others. There will be mornings when gratitude feels out of reach. That's okay. You don't have to be perfect. You just have to be willing. Even on the hardest days, there's something to be thankful for. Maybe it's the lesson, the strength you're building, or simply the fact that you're still here. So start small. Before you pick up your phone, before you rush into the day, pause. Take a breath and tell yourself, "I am grateful." Let that be your foundation. Let it be your anchor. Because when you live with gratitude, you don't just survive your days. You live them fully. You recognize the gift in the ordinary, and that, more than anything else, is what makes a life beautiful. Every morning when you wake up, there's a quiet moment where you decide, consciously or not, how you're going to face the day. That moment sets the tone for everything that follows. And in that moment, telling yourself, "I am capable and strong," can be the most important choice you make. We live in a world that constantly demands more. More effort, more resilience, more results, and often that pressure can make us feel like we're falling behind, not doing enough, or simply not enough. But here's the truth: you are already stronger than you think. You've survived every bad day, every setback, every moment you thought you couldn't get through. You are here now, and that alone is proof of your strength. Saying, "I am capable and strong," is not about arrogance. It's about awareness. It's acknowledging the inner power you carry, even on the days when it feels buried under doubt. Strength isn't loud. It doesn't always look like boldness or confidence. Sometimes strength is simply getting out of bed when your heart is heavy. Sometimes it's facing responsibilities when you'd rather run. Sometimes it's holding on just one more day when everything inside you wants to let go. Capability isn't perfection. Being capable doesn't mean you have all the answers, or that you'll never make mistakes. It means you have the potential to figure things out. It means that even if you stumble, you have the ability to get back up, to learn, to grow, to try again. It's about trusting yourself, not because you know the outcome, but because you know your own determination. When you remind yourself each morning that you are capable and strong, you're choosing to lead with belief instead of fear. You're telling the voice in your head, the one that whispers you're not good enough, to sit down and be quiet. You're choosing to believe in your own resilience, and that belief is powerful. Think back to a moment in your life when you didn't think you'd make it through, a moment that felt impossible at the time. Maybe it was a loss, a betrayal, a disappointment, or a period of deep uncertainty. Now look where you are. You didn't just survive, you learned something, you grew, and you carry that strength with you, whether you realize it or not. The beauty of strength is that it's not fixed. It builds with time, with challenges, with experience. Every time you face adversity and keep moving forward, you become stronger. Every failure you overcome adds to your foundation. And every success, no matter how small, proves you're capable of more than you imagined. But strength isn't only about enduring. It's also about embracing who you are, embracing your journey. Embracing the truth that you don't have to prove anything to anyone but yourself. Strength is found in honesty, in vulnerability, and in the courage to show up, even when it's hard. Telling yourself, "I am capable and strong," is a daily act of self-respect. It's a commitment to stop underestimating yourself. It's a way to stand tall in a world that often tries to shrink us. And it's not about pretending you don't struggle. It's about knowing you'll rise anyway. There will be days when you question your path, days when you feel overwhelmed or inadequate. On those days, this affirmation becomes even more important. It becomes your armor, your reminder, your inner voice pushing back against the noise of self-doubt. So each morning, say it like you mean it. "I am capable and strong." Say it until you believe it. Say it until it becomes your truth, because the more you say it, the more you'll act like it. And the more you act like it, the more you'll see it reflected in your life. You've made it through so much already. There is more strength in you than you give yourself credit for. And no matter what today throws at you, you can handle it, not because it's easy, but because you are capable. Because you are strong, and because deep down you know that nothing can stop a determined soul with a resilient heart. 2/2 every day is a chance, a fresh opportunity to become a little better, a little wiser, a little more you. When you wake up and tell yourself, "Today I will grow," you are setting an intention that goes beyond just getting through the day. You are choosing to become more than you were yesterday. That's not always easy. Growth is uncomfortable. Growth demands effort, but it's one of the most powerful commitments you can make to yourself. We often think growth only comes from big, life-changing moments, a new job, a major success, a dramatic shift in mindset. But in reality, growth is built in the quiet, ordinary decisions we make every day. It's in choosing patience when it would be easier to react in anger. It's in listening when you want to speak. It's in trying again after a failure, even when you feel discouraged. Growth is subtle, slow, and often invisible in the moment, but over time it transforms everything. Telling yourself today, I will grow, is an act of courage. It means you're willing to face your flaws, to step outside your comfort zone, and to take responsibility for your own journey. It means you recognize that you don't know everything, and that's okay, because every day gives you a chance to learn. Every interaction, every challenge, every mistake is a lesson if you're open to it. One of the biggest obstacles to growth is perfectionism. So many of us think we need to have it all figured out before we even begin. But growth isn't about being perfect. It's about being present. It's about showing up, being curious, and allowing yourself to evolve. You don't need to be better than anyone else. You only need to be better than the person you were yesterday. Growth also means accepting that failure is part of the process. You will stumble, you will make mistakes. That's not weakness. It's progress. Every time you fall, you learn something new. You gain resilience, experience, and understanding. Growth asks you to be kind to yourself during those moments, to see failure not as an end, but as a necessary step forward. And growth isn't just about what you do, it's also about how you think. Your mindset is everything. If you tell yourself that you're stuck, that you're not good enough, that change is impossible, then that's exactly where you'll stay. But when you wake up and say, today I will grow, you're giving yourself permission to change. You're giving yourself space to breathe, to stretch, to become. It's important to remember that growth doesn't always look like progress. Sometimes it looks like rest. Sometimes it looks like saying no. Sometimes it's recognizing a toxic habit and choosing not to feed it anymore. Growth is just as much about letting go as it is about adding more. Letting go of fear, letting go of guilt, letting go of the version of yourself that no longer fits. You don't need a perfect plan to grow. You don't need the right timing, the right tools, or the right people cheering you on. All you need is a decision, a simple daily decision to keep moving forward, to take the next step, to believe that your future self is worth the effort you put in today. Today, I will grow, is a powerful affirmation because it places the power back in your hands. You are not a victim of your circumstances. You are not defined by your past. You are a work in progress, and every day gives you the chance to rewrite your story. You don't have to make huge changes overnight. Just take one small step, one small choice to show up with more intention. That's where growth begins. So as you move through your day, carry that intention with you in your thoughts, in your actions, in your conversations. Let it guide how you handle challenges, how you treat others, and most importantly, how you treat yourself. Because when you choose to grow, you choose to live. You choose to become more aware, more compassionate, more aligned with who you truly are. And over time, those small daily choices will shape a life you're proud of. Today is a gift, use it to grow. Every morning, before the world begins to pull you in 1,000 directions, there's something important you need to remind yourself. My time and energy are valuable. This simple statement is more than just an affirmation. It's a boundary, a declaration, a promise to yourself that your life is worth protecting, and that how you spend your minutes and mental space matters. In a world that glorifies being constantly busy, it's easy to forget this. We say yes to too many things, we scroll mindlessly, we pour ourselves into situations that drain us instead of fuel us. We stretch ourselves thin, trying to be everything for everyone, and in the process, we forget to be something for ourselves. But your time is your most limited resource. Once it's gone, it doesn't come back. And your energy, that's the force that fuels your focus, your emotions, your creativity, and your well-being. To spend these things carelessly is to slowly lose touch with what really matters. Telling yourself my time and energy are valuable is about waking up with intention. It's about taking ownership of your day instead of letting the day take ownership of you. It means making conscious choices where you go, who you give your attention to, what you spend your mental energy thinking about. Every decision is a trade-off. If you say yes to something meaningless, you may be saying no to something deeply important without even realizing it. This affirmation is also about self-worth. When you truly believe that your time and energy are valuable, you stop settling. You stop chasing validation from people who don't respect your boundaries. You stop spending hours stressing over things that don't deserve that much power over you. You start protecting your peace. And in doing so, you create space for growth, space for joy, space for the things that align with who you really are. There's nothing selfish about guarding your time and energy. In fact, it's one of the most selfless things you can do. When you protect your inner world, you show up more present for others. You bring more clarity, more patience, more love to the table. But that only happens when you stop giving pieces of yourself away to everything and everyone without pause. Start noticing what drains you. Is it the constant need to please others, the fear of missing out, the endless cycle of comparison on social media? Begin to observe the things that leave you feeling empty instead of full. That awareness is the first step. Once you see where your energy is leaking, you can start to plug the holes. Sometimes protecting your time means saying no, and that's not always easy. We worry about disappointing people. We don't want to seem rude or unkind, but saying no to one thing often means saying yes to something better. Your health, your peace of mind, your purpose, and real connections, real friendships, real opportunities will respect those boundaries. Other times, protecting your energy means disconnecting, putting your phone down, taking a break, giving yourself permission to rest without guilt. In a culture that worships productivity, rest can feel rebellious. But it's necessary. You can't pour from an empty cup. You can't create, love, lead, or grow when you're constantly running on fumes. There will always be demands on your time. There will always be people or distractions trying to steal your attention. But you are not powerless. You get to choose how your day goes. You get to prioritize what truly matters to you. That's the real power behind this affirmation. It reminds you that you are in control. So wake up each morning and say it to yourself like you mean it. My time and energy are valuable. Let that guide your choices. Let it remind you to set boundaries, to rest when needed, to focus on what fills you up instead of what wears you down. Let it be your filter when you're deciding where to invest yourself. You only get one life, and while you may not control every circumstance, you do control how you show up for yourself in each moment. Protect your time, guard your energy, because when you value yourself enough to do that, everything in your life begins to shift for the better. There is a quiet but powerful belief that many people carry without even realizing it. The belief that they don't truly deserve happiness, joy, or success. Maybe it comes from past failures, constant comparison, or growing up in environments where dreams felt out of reach. But whatever the reason, it becomes a weight, a silent limiter, and the truth is that belief couldn't be more wrong. Every single morning you need to look yourself in the mirror and say, I deserve joy and success, not because you're perfect, not because you've done everything right, but because you are human, and that's enough. You were not born to just struggle through life, constantly surviving, waiting for some mythical moment when you're finally good enough to be happy. Joy is not something you have to earn through pain or perfection. It's something you're allowed to feel now just as you are. And success, that's not a prize for the chosen few. It's a journey that begins with self-belief and grows with action, consistency, and resilience. So why do we hesitate to claim joy and success for ourselves? Why do we shrink second, guess, or sabotage when things start to go right? Part of it is conditioning. We've been told not to want too much, and not to aim too high, that happiness is for others, or that it's selfish to put ourselves first. But the truth is, you're not here to play small. You're not here to dim your light just to make others comfortable. Believing you deserve joy and success is not arrogance. It's alignment. It's about knowing your worth and recognizing that good things are not reserved for some better version of you down the road. You don't need to wait until you lose weight, earn more money, fix every flaw, or have your life perfectly together. You are worthy now. Joy isn't always about loud laughter or big, dramatic moments. Sometimes it's found in the small things, the warmth of the sun on your face, a moment of peace, a deep breath, a smile you didn't expect. You deserve to feel those moments without guilt. You deserve to let happiness into your life without feeling like you have to trade something for it. It's not a reward, it's a right. Success, too, takes many forms. It's not just wealth, titles, or external achievements. It's waking up and doing the work that matters to you. It's staying true to your values. It's getting back up after life knocks you down. It's choosing growth over comfort. It's building a life that feels right, not one that just looks right to others. When you tell yourself, I deserve success, you're not claiming entitlement. You're giving yourself permission to dream, to pursue, to believe, and that permission is powerful. Because when you believe you deserve joy and success, you begin to make different choices. You stop settling for less than you need. You surround yourself with people who lift you up, not weigh you down. You take risks, try new things, and open yourself up to opportunities. You stop living like a spectator and start living like a creator. Of course, there will be days when it feels hard to believe. Days when doubt creeps in, days when joy feels far away and success feels impossible. But that's when this belief matters the most. You don't have to feel confident every moment, but you do have to keep choosing yourself again and again. Remind yourself that you're worthy even when it's hard to see, that you're allowed to have bad days, setbacks, and still move forward with hope. You deserve joy because your existence is meaningful. You deserve success because your effort, your heart, and your growth have value. Don't let past pain or present fear talk you out of that truth. Don't keep waiting for permission from the world. Give it to yourself. Wake up and say it, I deserve joy and success. Let that belief guide your day. Let it shape your mindset, your decisions, your goals. Because when you believe in your own worth, you start to live like it. And that's when everything begins to change, not just your circumstances, but your entire relationship with life. You are worthy, you are capable, and yes, you deserve to thrive. There's something deeply empowering about waking up and telling yourself, I am in control of my story. In a world that often tries to define us through labels, expectations, and past experiences, this simple reminder cuts through the noise. It reminds you that no matter what has happened before, no matter what others think, and no matter how stuck you might feel in this moment, you hold the pen. You are the author of your life. It's easy to fall into the trap of believing that your life is something happening to you, rather than something you are actively shaping. Maybe things haven't gone the way you planned. Maybe you've made mistakes or faced situations beyond your control. But those things don't get to write the ending for you. They are chapters, not your whole book. You still have pages left, pages filled with potential, waiting to be written with intention and courage. Owning your story doesn't mean pretending that the hard parts didn't happen. It means acknowledging them, learning from them, and then deciding where you go from here. It means refusing to let pain become your permanent identity. You may have been hurt, lost, misunderstood, or underestimated, but those are experiences, not definitions. You are more than what has happened to you. You are more than what you've been through. You are someone who can rise, change, and start again. Taking control of your story means choosing how you respond. You don't get to decide every circumstance, but you do get to decide your attitude, your next move, and how you carry yourself through the storm. You get to choose whether you let fear drive you or whether you walk forward with faith. You get to choose whether the past holds you back or becomes fuel for your growth. There is real strength in taking responsibility for your life, not in a way that blames yourself for everything, but in a way that says, I may not have created this situation, but I get to decide what I do with it. That's where your power lies. Not in changing the world around you, but in changing how you show up in it. This belief also shifts your mindset from passive to active. Instead of waiting for life to get better, you begin to create better. You start seeking opportunities, not excuses. You stop waiting for someone else to save you or tell you what's possible, and you start trusting yourself to take the lead. It doesn't mean you have all the answers. It just means you're willing to take the next step, even if you're scared. And control doesn't mean rigidity. It doesn't mean forcing your story to go a certain way or needing everything to be perfect. It means being flexible but intentional. It means knowing that your story can shift directions. And that's okay. Sometimes the plot twists are the best parts. Sometimes the unexpected detours bring you exactly where you were meant to be. You are allowed to change your narrative. You can choose to stop living in survival mode and start living with purpose. You can rewrite the roles you've been cast in. Maybe you were always the quiet one, the helper, the strong one, or even the screw-up. But those roles are not fixed. You are not trapped by old versions of yourself. Growth means giving yourself permission to evolve. When you begin to live like you are in control of your story, you'll notice a shift. You stop tolerating things that drain you. You start setting boundaries that protect your peace. You chase dreams instead of doubts. You surround yourself with people who support the life you're building, not the life you've outgrown. And even on the hard days, you keep going because you know the story isn't over yet. You don't need permission to take ownership of your life. You don't need everything to be perfect before you start. The most powerful thing you can do is begin, right now, with what you have where you are. You may not rewrite the whole book in one day, but every page you turn with intention brings you closer to the life you want to live. So every morning, take a breath and remind yourself, I am in control of my story. Say it until it feels true. Act like it even when it's hard, because your life is yours, not your past's, not someone else's idea of you, and certainly not fear's. The pen is in your hands. Now write something that makes you proud. Thanks for watching.